Hi, I'm Charles with the Charles Potter Jr. Agency. We have a brand new location for you located at 2605 North Broome Street, right in front of Fulton's Paper Company. So now you got two locations where we can serve you. One at 5506 Kirkwood Highway, and the new one right here on Broome Street in front of Fulton's Paper, right in the city, 652-2400. That's 652-2400. We have faxing services, and we have notary service, be it auto, home, life, business, for all your insurance needs.
Charles Potter Jr. Agency, 302-652-2400.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Welcome to State Rep Update. Today I'm going to be going solo. My partner, my co-host, Stephanie T. Bolden is at home. She's taking care of a little business, but you know, I like to let Stephanie know that we'll talk about her just a little bit and get some information from Dover on a few things that she's working on. First of all, this is a new year. Glad to be back. I'm very happy and excited about a lot of things we're going to be doing down in Dover. As you all know, last year was my first year serving as the state representative in the 1st District, and State Rep Bolden now has been down in Dover for 5 years. I chair the gaming pari-mutuels, and which is the lotteries and casinos. I'm one of the first freshmen to have a chairmanship down in Dover. In addition to that, I sit on the Judiciary Committee, the Education Committee, Health and Social Services, and all the House members sit on the Veterans Committee. But there's a lot of exciting things going on down in Dover. We were successful last year in bringing a lot of money in the city and throughout the county and the state of Delaware. And this year, we're going to be more focused on jobs. You know, we got to make sure that we have our people working, so we got to have good jobs. We got to have apprenticeship programs that we're working on down in Dover. And I want to kind of do a program similar to what we were able to do here in Wilmington when I was your council person, where we increased the number percentage for DBEs, that's disadvantaged business enterprises, are participating and getting contracts. Right now, a lot of minorities, blacks, and others don't get a lot of the contracts in the state, and we got to make sure that there's parity there as well. Because if we're asking the state to give 15 or 20% to minorities, blacks, and others, then you know other people are getting the other 80%. So I think it's a good formula. But first today, I want to talk to you about some legislation that I'm going to be putting in down in Dover, and it has tremendous support. We talked about this the other day at a town hall meeting I had, and by the way, I want to thank everyone for coming out to that town hall meeting. We had 400 to 500 people at that meeting. I want to thank the people from the Affordable Care programs that came out to talk about health insurance. Then we had a gentleman from the state budget office. He came down and he talked about the state budget, where we're at, and we're going to talk a little more about the deficit we're in at the state. But he talked about how you can get involved as a nonprofit to get grant and aid money and bond money, which is very important because there's a lot of good programs out there, a lot of people doing a lot of good things, and we need to help you, help us to help people in our community. Then it was followed up with a lot of elected officials. I wanted to make sure people in the district got to see some elected officials. They may not see that much, being County Exec Tom Gordon, Senator Margaret Rose Henry, County Councilman Penrose Hollins, County Councilman John Cartier. We were also joined by the Urban League, who the new president, believe it or not, is former Mayor James Baker. Then we had Richard Smith, president of the NAACP, and we had the people from the Nation of Islam, Robert Muhammad. And the reason I did that is because with what we're working on now, which we will overcome the crime and violence that's taking place in the city of Wilmington, we all got to work together, Hispanic, Jewish, black, white, whatever. It's about all of us working together to make our city better, and we're going to win. There's no doubt in my mind. We're winning now. We're going to win this, and we're not going to let anybody define our city other than us of what it should be. Forget about what you see. You want to understand what's happening in your neighborhood. But we want to make sure the News Journal and other people, if they don't tell the story about all the goodness happening in the city, we have to tell their story. And by the way, it's up to us to dictate what we want in our city. And we're not excusing any of the families out there who have family members out there doing the wrong things, but it's up to us to do much better. Today, right now, though, I want to talk to you about some legislation I will be sponsoring down in Dover. And that legislation is going to be related to and called the Delaware Crime Prevention and Rehabilitation Act. And I got a shot of a postcard that we've been passing around throughout the state that I'd like them to zero in now while I just discussed this a little bit. You see on that postcard there, and we're going to leave that up a minute, it talks about wasted lives, wasted tax dollars, and that's a picture of the Gander Hill Prison and inmates sleeping on the gym floor, which is outrageous. You got a lot of people in there that are in prison for just small crimes that, you know, we're not saying that people doing crime should be just justified. We're not saying that, but at the same time, we're saying that we have people in prison that shouldn't be in prison, that we should be putting through other programs that can make them continue to be a healthy part of society. We have a lot of people in there with small drug usage. We have a lot of people who have mental issues in prisons throughout, up and down the state, who should be in programs, detox programs, working programs to get people back into society. And with this particular legislation, which has been helped put together by Dr. Floyd McDowell, Liz Allen, Al Jackson, and many people throughout up and down the state. What we're saying is that we want to make sure that we're not going to constantly spend $36,000 per person per year on imprisoning people when we can get people back to work, we can help people to become healthy. And I'm just going to tell you that some of this bill, which we're going to be going around up and down the state, getting your input about how to formulate this legislation. Although it is in with the House attorneys, we want to make sure you understand it, you support it, and that you help us to get the other legislators to understand this and to support and pass this legislation. You can come back to me. Let me just read some of the things in here. It says, this act will implement the mission statement to our state criminal justice system as expressed in the Delaware Code to provide for treatment, rehabilitation, restoration of offenders as useful, law-abiding citizens within the community. Our nation incarcerates 5 times the number of prisoners than any other the 30 developed nations, and our Delaware rate of prison incarceration is among the highest in our state. Our State Department of Corrections and Criminal Justice System processes and is responsible for incarcerating 20,000 offenders annually and releasing them into our communities approximately the same number. We have 7,000 incarcerated in our prisons, which are overcrowded by approximately 400 prisoners. For years, there is a plan for prison expansions to go up to 900 beds. And, well, 2013, it projected that that would have cost us $450 million. That's approximately $500,000 per bed. Now, what we're saying here, the annual incarceration cost in 2013 was $36,000, with total incarceration costs that year of $256 million to our state. We can't continue to waste money in incarcerating people and having people be unproductive, although they made mistakes. We all have made mistakes in the past. But we had to change this around because we cannot arrest our way out of a situation and imprison our way out of this situation. We had to have people become more productive. This act will also make sure that instead of incarceration, that we have more detox centers. There's one detox center in the state of Delaware, and that's on Kirkwood Highway. So we want to increase that. What we're looking at doing is having a workshop sometime in February to talk about this one issue. This won't be a town hall meeting. This will be issue specific as it relates to the Delaware Crime Prevention and Rehabilitation Act, because this act is very important. There are 25 sections to this particular act, and we're going to go through each section and want you to participate to make sure you understand it and see how we can have people become more productive and that we can reduce the amount of money we're spending on prisons. Prisons throughout this country have become a big-time business, and people are making a lot of money. But we don't want the state of Delaware allowing people to make money on just incarcerating people. What I'm going to do now for about a couple minutes, and I'm going to come back to this and talk about more elements of this particular legislation, is I want to play just a couple minutes, about 3 to 5 minutes, just to show you that people in our community do really, really care, and that they came out to a meeting held on January 13th, over 400 to 500 people, and they really participated, and we want to thank you. So we want to go to about a couple minutes of that, and stay tuned. I'll be right back. First of all, my name is State Representative Charles Potter Jr., and I'd like to thank you all for supporting me and allowing me to be your state representative. It's an honor and a pleasure to serve you. And as I promised, I'm going to do the best I can to serve you well. I want to bring forth 3 different organizations to talk about the portable health care. Many of you know the portable health care. Some people say Obamacare. But I just believe it's the right thing to help somebody, and that health care should be free for everyone. This is Charles Potter Jr. speaking. And education should be free for everyone. But we have people here from the West Side Family Health Care, also Christiana Care, and we have Gary Hunt here, who's going to come up here shortly, from the Affordable Care Brokers people. So I'm going to let each one introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about themselves. And all during the meeting, if you have questions about affordable health care, 3 different tables out there. You can go out there and talk to someone. So we're going to start off with Ms. Terry Cassidy. You're going to start? Okay, sorry.
Thank you. Okay, sure. Thank you, Representative Potter. My name is Michelle Amadio. I'm the Director of the Health Insurance Marketplace for the state of Delaware. I work for Health and Social Services. We're responsible for the implementation of the Affordable Care Act in Delaware, but as a partner with the federal government. The state's responsibility includes making sure that the plans that are sold on the marketplace are appropriate and well vetted, making sure that they cover all of the things that are essential to the health of Delawareans. We're also responsible for consumer assistance. I have Terry, Christiana, and Evan from Westside Health. We're going to tell you a little bit about how we do provide that consumer assistance in the community, and we're responsible for the overall outreach and media. So we're thrilled to be here tonight to talk to you all. If you know anyone who needs health insurance who hasn't enrolled yet, we have marketplace guides throughout the state of Delaware and lots of information on choosehealthde.com. In addition to the marketplace being open, Delaware has chosen to expand its Medicaid program to 138% of the federal poverty level. So a lot of people who may have been right above income resource prior to January 1st may now be eligible for our Medicaid program as well. So you can go on to Choose Health DE, there's calculators, there's all kinds of information about the plans that are available, the information on where to find our marketplace guides, and other information that you may need to know about health insurance. So we would love to hear from you. We're really thrilled to announce that once the federal website did get running a lot better at the end of November, our curve to enrollment shot up drastically by thousands of %. So we're steady rolling until the end of this enrollment period, which is March 31st. Open enrollment ends for this year. If you have a change of life status, of course, you're able to enroll in the marketplace or the expanded Medicaid at any time. So here is Terry from Christiana Care.
Good evening. Just like Michelle said in a nutshell, we're out there to help each and every one of you. We have the different agencies now. We're Christiana Care Health System. We have 9 marketplace guys that are doing just as Michelle said, going out and helping you to enroll and helping you to understand the plans that they have now on the Affordable Care Act. We thank Representative Potter for allowing us to be here because we still have a long way to go, but we're moving, as Michelle has said. And we have the different dates that we need to be in compliance with to make sure that you, as a consumer, have some sort of affordable health insurance in your pocket. We have come a long way. And now we're at this point in 2014 that we need to do what we need to do to be taken care of. Anything that we can do, Christianity Care is out there at the table. My major role as a healthcare marketplace guide, I'm out in the community. Community is my passion. And if you like, when you grew up, when Representative Potter and I grew up, and his wife, that's what we did. We helped each other. We went into the homes. If you remember Mrs. Clan, she always had us out there doing something to help someone else.
Hi, I'm Charles with the Charles Potter Jr. Agency. We have a brand new location for you, located at 2605 North Broome Street, right in front of Fulton's Paper Company. So now you got two locations where we can serve you. One at 5506 Kirkwood Highway, and the new one right here on Broome Street in front of Fulton's Paper, right in the city, 652-2400. That's 652-2400. We have faxing services, and we have notary service, be it auto, home, life, business, for all your insurance needs.
Charles Potter Jr. Agency, 302-652-2400.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, welcome back to State Rep Update. And again, Stephanie T. Bolden's not here with me today, but I just want to give her a shout out because she's going to say, well, you didn't mention my name. Well, I did mention your name. You were just looking at some of the segments of the town hall meeting that I held at PS DuPont back on January 13th. And as I mentioned during the earlier part of the show, we're going to have a one-issue workshop in February related to the Delaware Crime and Prevention Act. And I'm going to just talk about a few more elements of that, and then we're going to move into talking about what's happening with the casinos. Then I'm going to be joined by some people to discuss union issues with DART. Then we're going to bring that Republican Cal Brown and some other people and talk about some state issues. Some of the other elements of the Delaware Crime Prevention and Rehabilitation Act will reform the criminal justice system for nonviolent drug, alcohol, and mentally ill offenders and save the taxpayers millions. Here's what the act will do. The annual incarceration rate per inmate is $36,000. County-based treatment centers to eliminate the grip of drugs and mental illness with transitional supporting services costing about $12,000 and saving the taxpayers about $24,000 per year for nonviolent offenders. End mandatory sentences and allow judges to use sentencing discretion with court-ordered individualized treatment programs. Let me repeat that. End mandatory sentencing and allow judges to use sentencing discretion. After 3 years of successful completion of treatment and probation, offenders' records and fines will be removed and making it easier for them to start all over. There's more to see, and you can go on DelawareVoices.com to find out more about this particular act, which we will email around again. And you can also, starting tomorrow, look this up on my Facebook pages. You can look up State Rep Charles Potter Jr. Facebook or Straight Talk Facebook page. Here are some of the statistics. The following statistics shows that incarcerating people who need alcohol, substance abuse, and mental health treatment is not cost effective. Crime to prevent crime and sensible use of our dollars. Both issues are on course to morally and financially bankrupting the state of Delaware. They are as follows. More people are addicted by and die from legally prescribed painkiller drugs than illegal drugs. Delaware ranks 47th among 50 states in prison reentry efforts. Delaware incarceration expends $256 million or $250 million. Roughly 25% of convicted offenders have a mental health issue and they need treatment. Approximately 80% of our offenders' population is substance abusers, and without treatment, 70% become repeat offenders. 7,000 people are currently incarcerated, and overcrowded prisons over by 400. Startling 80% of our youth in correction facilities will go on to enter the adult criminal justice system, so we had to stop this behavior. The rate of recidivism for prisoners in 2013 is 80%. Within 3 years after being released, 71% of these returnees commit additional serious crimes at a cost of about $80 million. These figures do not include arrests, pretrial, and victims' property. 97% of all prisoners will return to our communities. So the question is, what are we going to do to stop this? And we believe that this Crime Prevention and Rehabilitation Act will help get us on our way. We're going to go to another segment of the town hall meeting. Followed by that, I'm going to do an interview with a well-known attorney, Darryl Baker, who will be here to help me discuss what's going on with casinos. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Good evening, everybody. The big word tonight has been incarceration. And that's what we want to address here right now, because even though Delaware is the corporate state, it's also the incarceration Jim Crow state. Right now, we have 20,000 offenders that go in and out of our prison system every year. 85% of our children that are in juvenile detention facilities will be in the prison industrial complex. We have the most comprehensive act that has ever come to the state of Delaware, and it's called the Delaware Crime Prevention and Rehabilitation Act. What it does is, our judges have already told us how much they hate the mandatory sentencing guidelines. They never know who is in front of them, what their backgrounds are, etc. This act will end mandatory guidelines forever in the state of Delaware. And will give our judges, our competent judges, the right to court order a drug alcohol detox program. And after 3 years, once you have successfully managed your program and completed it, all your arrest records will be expunged. Now we have 25% of our people are mentally ill in these prison gulags, and I call them gulags because that's what they are. I have over 100 letters from inmates who are talking about the mentally ill that are in our prison system being brutalized by the guards who are supposed to be taking care of them. We know that these 20,000 people that go in and out, they come home and they talk to their families and their friends, where they talk about the brutality that they suffered in the prison system. That relates to our law enforcement, because we have people in prison who are saying, wait till I get out, I'm going to get me a uniform. This is the problem we have got to wrap our heads around. This act is comprehensive. There are 25 things that it will do to forever change what's going on in these prisons. No more will a mentally ill person go to prison. They will go into a treatment center. No more will a person who is addicted to drugs and alcohol go to prison. They will instead go into a detox, a rehab center, and re-entry. Delaware is 47th in the nation in re-entry. Of the 85% of our people that go into jail, they will recidivate. When they come out, they have no job, they have no chance, no hope, no opportunity, and they're back on the street doing whatever they need to do to survive, and the prison industrial complex awaits. I ask every one of you, please, when Charles Potter and I think Margaret Rose Henry is going to take it in the Senate, when this bill comes up, we need every one of you and legislate them all. We need every one of you. I'm going to be passing these out. Wasted lives, wasted taxpayer dollars. $36,000 a year to incarcerate mentally ill, drug-addicted people. Blacks and Hispanics are in the majority in the country. We need the county council, the city council, ministers, NAACP, all of you. Let's do this. We can do this together. We can change
I want to thank Liz Allen. Liz Allen and I have worked together for years on the Patriot Act, on the dump. Welcome back. That particular town hall meeting, if you go to my Facebook page, you could see that parts 1 and 2 in its entirety, because at the end, and we'll show you some segments later, that we had the top police officials throughout the state, from the state, county, and the city of Wilmington, and other different various good information there. So you can also YouTube it and pick it up, because it's very informative. Now we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to do a quick interview with a gentleman who I've known for some time now, Darryl Baker. How are you doing, Darryl?
Good to see you, Representative.
Good to
Thank you
see
for having
you.
me today.
All right, you're all sharped up there.
As are you, as usual.
Well, look, oh, you know what I got to say? You see this vest? Little fancy. This vest, my son and my wife gave it to me. They went to Spain. It was kind of different, and I kind of like it a little bit. You know, it has
it's
a
nice.
double button. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
You like it? All
Yeah.
right. A little
neat.
different. But today I want to talk with Mr. Baker about the casinos. As I mentioned to you, I do chair the gaming and pari-mutuels for the state of Delaware. And we've been talking about many things as it relates to casinos. And you are somewhat of an expert, and I know that you are a lobbyist for a casino that wants to come to the state of Delaware.
Yes. State Line Casino, which is a company that wants to develop a casino in Sussex, along the state border, close to the Maryland border.
Okay.
The goal there would be to work in conjunction with the existing racetrack that's there, which is a drag strip that draws thousands of people every weekend for a number of weekends, combined with
Thousands of people.
Thousands of people. And it's not one event or two events like they have at Dover, which are NASCAR. This is a different kind of racing.
Okay.
And then we would also move in conjunction with that, shopping like we have here on 202 on Concord Pike.
So you're talking about creating a destination point. And let me just give a little more information before we go a little deeper. Right now, our 3 casinos are struggling. Well, they're said they're struggling, but they're not. Because if they were struggling that much, I believe they would go out of business. Last year, the state helped the 3 casinos by giving $8 million. I wasn't supportive of that, but what happened is that they packaged it in with other parts of the budget where you couldn't just pick that out and say no. So if you said no to it, some of the items related to other nonprofits wouldn't have got passed. But this year, the casinos are saying they're hurting again, and they're asking the state. They were trying to get a windfall of $25 million. I cannot support that. I don't believe many of our other legislators would support that. I sit on the task force that was put together by the governor. The Speaker Swerkoff, put me on that committee along with Valerie Longhurst, who is the majority leader. We have one other state representative, a couple senators. We have someone from the Chamber of Commerce. Then we also have Mr. Cook, who's joint finance chair. And we're trying to come up with ways to see how we can help the casinos. And I'm always straight shooter, Darryl, and I've said this from the beginning. I believe in an open market process. These casinos should live and die based on how they make their own money. We created a monopoly, and this casino money is 8% of our budget. We got to wind ourselves down off of that. So I just wanted to kind of set the stage, because we had to come up with some suggestions by the end of the month on what we're going to do with these casinos. So I know that you're supporting the casino. I know that we have Senator Bushweiler sitting on the commission, and he supports Dover Downs, which is in his district. I understand it. He's been talking about he needs those 1,300 jobs. I submit to them, I say, I am up here in Wilmington. I want a casino here in Wilmington because I could use 3,000 jobs. I can use to spin off businesses and so forth. So it's going to be some give and take. And, I say just allow the casinos who want to come in. And if you believe you can make it, you make it. If you can't, you can't. Tell me what your thoughts are on this.
Well, we believe that it should be more of an open market, that the monopoly that was given to the 3 racinos back in the 90s, part of that agreement was the 43% that goes to the state, or at that time it was 30, approximately 37 or 8%. In exchange for that monopoly, that they were part of that partnership, Representative, was that they produced a certain amount of money to the state.
Right.
That number is now plummeting. The clients that I represent, along with our allies in the North, we can live with the rules as they are today.
When you say you can live with the rules, define that for people out there. Do you need, like now the casinos are coming back asking for more money, would you be coming back asking for more? Tell me what it is that you believe you would do.
The only thing that my clients need, or our allies here in the North, would be a simple paper that said gambling license.
That's all you want is a gambling license?
Correct. We do not want any state money at all. No money for roads, no money for infrastructure upgrades.
Right.
We will do everything ourselves. The project in the Del Mar region would be $150 million, perhaps as much as $200 million, depending upon the number of machines that you and the Lottery Commission would award.
So you're talking about bringing in over 150 or 200 million in infrastructure needs?
That would be for upgrading the highways down there,
Okay.
as well as water, sewer, electric for the project, and that would just be for the Del Mar region.
Right.
Up here, you're looking at least 300 million, again, depending upon the number of machines and tables that you would approve.
Okay.
We can live with the percentages the way they are today.
Okay.
We do not need a tax break. We do not need anything from the government other than the gaming license.
Okay. Well, that's important because the 3 casinos right now, they're saying, well, we were at 45%. Now you got us down to 43. Take us back to what it was before. And we're sitting there saying, no, make it off of what we're giving you right now. You have enough. And they don't take in consideration the fact that, Darryl, for at least 10 years, they didn't have any competition. I think the number, and correct me if I'm wrong, that they brought in about $1 billion. Well, so what happened to all that money that they should have been putting back into building incentives, into additional hotels, parking, giving more money back for slot play to drive people into their businesses?
Well, I have no idea what they did with all that money, but it was an unbelievable amount.
Am I correct? Was it? I know it was over 500 million, was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Easily.
Easily.
And they also had a 10-year, at least a 10-year head start on Maryland and Pennsylvania.
Right.
Also, your listeners might be reminded of the fact that Pennsylvania and Maryland have significantly higher rates of tax
Right.
than we here have in Delaware.
Okay.
So it's actually more incentivized to open a casino here.
Right.
Furthermore, we are more geographically centrally located.
Yes, we are.
And as I might also remind your listeners, all casinos, as I was taught years ago, have 2 things in common.
What's that?
No clocks and no windows.
No clocks and no windows to
So-
keep you in there all day, right?
Yes, sir. And you've got to create an atmosphere that people want to come and visit. Whether it be in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, here in the Wilmington area, or somewhere else in Delaware. And unfortunately, you can tell by the number of people that are coming to the racinos that we have now, Delaware Park, Dover, and Harrington, that the number is dropping.
Yeah, well, the fact is they will say there's not enough people to draw. I did a little, when they say numbers don't lie, I did some math. And down in Atlantic City, you have at least 11 casinos right there drawing off of 3 million people. So if you divide that in, the average is about 220 people per casino. Here in Delaware, the number is about 290,000 per casino. So that doesn't wash with me. You can do the numbers all around because I know people who pass Delaware Park, pass Harrah's, and go all the way to Sugar House. So if you build it right as a destination point, I believe people will come. And if you give the right incentives to people.
Correct. I mean, basically, you've got to build the destination where people come and do multiple different things. For example, I would point out to your listeners today that Maryland Live is a casino that just started outside of in the Arundel area in Maryland. Currently, it's less than 2 years old.
Okay.
And it already does more in business annually than all 3 of our casinos combined.
That's amazing.
It's and what is it? It's marketing.
Now tell me, would you as a casino want to come here in Delaware when you have the other 3 casinos crying to say, well, we can't make money? And it's not up to us as the state to create a monopoly, although we have created a monopoly for these casinos. So you're saying to me that you don't want us to give you anything, just allow you to have a license, and you know the business, you can make it work.
Yes, we can. If the state opened it up totally, that would be fine with us. If the state restricts it with just a finite number, that would be fine as well. But frankly, we believe that there is a market here for 2 more, at least,
Right.
and that our people are well qualified. They're from the West, can manage it, operate it, and do so in a manner that will preserve the business here.
Okay.
Keep it fresh, much like hotels, things have to change for people
Sure.
to come back. And we believe that we've got the experience and the know-how and the wherewithal. Furthermore, we've got the deep pockets to keep it fresh.
Okay.
And I would suggest to you now that frankly what's occurred with the 3 racinos we have now is they're running out of money. So they're basically dying businesses
Right.
that cannot recapitalize themselves and fix themselves up and create new destinations.
Right.
So we're watching a slow, miserable death, and we here as taxpayers in Delaware are going to be basically the victims of that slow, miserable demise.
We need to, as a state, we want the revenue from it. You know, whether it comes from 5 casinos, 2 or 1, is fine with me. But I want us to draw down on having that as 8% of our budget, and that money should go more toward seniors, the revenue, and schools and things of that nature, which is not getting there. We're dealing with a $125 million deficit, so in no way can I see this commission coming out saying get the casinos $25 million. I don't see that happening. You gave a nice analogy the other day of something being on hospice. Do you remember that analogy that you gave? Can you give me a little bit of that before we conclude this interview?
Sure. I mean, right now, frankly, yes, sir. This is like the last stages of hospice, watching these last couple of years of the casinos.
Okay.
And we're frankly about ready for the morphine drip, unfortunately.
Okay.
We all know what's going to happen. We don't know the exact date,
Right.
but much like death, it's near. And we need to be prepared for when that day occurs.
Right.
And palliative care is, although certainly helpful,
Right.
the living must go on. And we, the living, the citizens of Delaware, need to go on. And we need to be prepared for when their demise comes. There's going to come a point when we have to say, and I don't envy you at all as the chairman of the committee, but as you see the number of tax dollars dwindling and dwindling that comes in from the casinos,
Right.
when you've got all these opportunities for other folks
Fresh
like,
people want to come in.
right,
Right.
whether it be my folks or other folks that want to come in and bid against us, that's fine. We'll do that. But you're missing opportunities, and I might point out to your listeners that Prince George's County, for example, just announced a $900 million new facility.
Wow. And see, this is a point why the 3 casinos here in Delaware, and they have people's mind fixated on we can't handle another casino. That's totally wrong. Everybody's building around us, approaching on us, so we had to do something different. We can't stay the same because we know that 3,000 jobs would be a great stimulus in the city of Wilmington, construction jobs, high-paying jobs that will be offered here, and a destination point. We have the riverfront. We have everything needed. You know, it's funny that, you know, when the state as a whole and people look at Wilmington, they say, well, look at Wilmington with its problems. But at the same time, you want to deprive us of annexation, increasing the wage tax. We take all the poor to help us and everybody because we have a bus route. So don't deprive us of everything, but want us to do everything. It just can't happen. I want to thank you for coming out, and we're going to continue this conversation. And I am one that's supportive of us expanding to 2 new casinos because it makes sense. You guys are the only ones with a business plan that is shovel ready to bring jobs, employment, new everything. I mean, I'm just so excited about you guys wanting to come in. Yet, it's still my job and others to convince these other legislators to say, hey, level the playing field. Let us get out of the casino business. Let the guys who know how to run it, and we can't constantly keep reviving these same 3 casinos. Your last thoughts before you go?
Well, I think eventually it's going to occur because when one of these 3 casinos goes bankrupt, we're all going to be confronted with that which we knew was going to happen.
But the problem is, and hate to cut in again, is that you just can't come and build a casino overnight. We need to tell some people now, start getting online in case it happens, because if they fail, and it'll take, what, at least a year or two to get online?
Frankly, we could probably have a temporary gaming facility at each end of the state within 6 months of a license being granted. The
Okay.
construction then would immediately follow for the permanent facilities. So you could probably be turning revenue within 9 months of a bill passing and perhaps 6 months of a license being issued.
Okay, well, we're going to continue this conversation next month, because by that time, we will have made a decision on what we're going to do with these casinos. I'd like to thank you for coming out.
Yes, sir.
And look forward to seeing you down in Dover.
Good.
We're going to go to a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be back, and we're going to have a conversation with OP about what's going on Mother's Day this year.
My colleague on the county council, Councilman John Cartier, our districts meet together in Brandywine 100. He represents Eastern Brandywine 100. Again, I want to introduce, even though he was introduced earlier, the Chief Administrative Officer for Newcastle County Government, Mr. David Grimaldo. Also here is the County Attorney, Mr. Bernard Pepakaya. We have county police officers in the back of the room. We have executive assistants in this room. We have the county executive in this room. The reason I'm saying all that again is because you would not have this level of people at P.S. DuPont School tonight from Newcastle County government if we did not have a vested interest in the city of Wilmington. I'm honored to serve the city of Wilmington on the county council, and I can tell you, you can take it to the bank, and if you don't believe me, start reading the paper and the news journal of what's going on in Newcastle County government. I'm representing this city. My interest is in this city. I've taken pet narrative task because I felt that if you're going to redo Rodney Square, what you need to do is make certain that if you're going to have new jobs coming here, just a pet narrative, before you get the $15 million from the county, you're going to have to make certain that you have a diversity plan that includes people who live on the east side of Wilmington. What you have to understand is that there are people that are fighting for you. But for me, fighting for you, quite simply, is not enough. We have to fight together. The people you see up here tonight, including myself, we're not going to solve all of our problems in our communities by ourselves. It's going to take all of us. Trust me, it's going to take all of us. I too live in the city of Wilmington. I'm not exempt from any other thing from anybody else who live in the city of Wilmington. I see the peacekeepers here tonight. They were on the east side just a few weeks ago walking with the Northeast Civic Association. Tomorrow night on the county council, I will be asking my colleagues to join me to provide the vest for all the folk who are involved in the Northeast to look just like the peacekeepers. So you may not know everything that's going on in the county council, but what I can tell you, I'm not one of these people who got all the questions and all the answers. But I do believe, as the mayor said, if we don't start educating our children, if we don't begin to educate our children, it is over. This is a global economy. And folks are competing in China for jobs that are in the United States of America. You need to understand you got to get back to basic, and basic number one is to educate our children. The numbers that the mayor just gave to you a few minutes ago are very for real, and they're also very scary. So we can't keep sitting back and wondering what's going on and pointing fingers. We're not going to police our way out of this. That's one thing I do know. It's going to take more than the police. What the police does, catch.
Hello, welcome back. Now we're going into the Straight Talk segment. And of course, I'm going solo today, but I'm fine with that. I enjoy it. I'm going solo to a certain point in time before Ed joins me and Calvin and some other people. But now I'm joined by a good friend of mine, a dynamiter. That's what he. OP, how you doing, man?
How you doing, Powder? How you doing today?
OP, I kid with him, and because we have something really in common here. Because my brother Oscar Potter, they called him OP. He passed a couple years ago, and I used to say to OP, "You're not the real OP. My brother Oscar's the real OP. You're the fake me out OP." But I can tell you something about Oliver Patterson right here is that he's been a promoter for years and years and years. You name some of the big time people. Billy Paul, Charlie Wilson, Gladys Knight, Tina Marie, just on and on and on and on. He's a promoter. The unfortunate thing is that most of his promoting has been in Philadelphia and other states and not in his own home place. We got to get away from that. We got to allow our young people to produce and promote, just like, a lot of young people try to promote in the city and the state, and people don't be as supportive as they need to be. We had to change that. But you have a big show coming up on Mother's Day, right?
May the 10th and May the 11th.
May the 10th and May the 11th?
Yes,
Okay.
May the 10th at the Borger Hall, I got Charlie Wilson, Gladys Knight, and Hit of the State. Hit of the State is Bobby Brown, Ralph, and Johnny Gill.
And what night is that?
That's May the 10th.
May the 10th. And what do you have on May the 11th?
May the 11th, we're doing the 50-year anniversary for the Whispers.
Oh, that's my main group right there.
Whispers and Howard Huey's going to be there with them. They're celebrating the 50 years of being in the entertainment business.
Okay, and how much are tickets going to go?
Tickets are going to be 100, 80. It's a Saturday night show though.
The Saturday night show.
100, 80, 70, and 50.
So $50 you can get up there and see a really good show.
And I'm gonna come back on your show, and we're gonna give away some tickets.
Gonna give away some. We did that last year.
Yeah.
I came up to the show last year, my wife and I, and we stayed at Caesars. Then we enjoyed the show. I think it was Charlie Wilson, Jaheim, and
what do we have?
it was packed. It was powerful.
Yeah.
Then that Sunday we got out and went to a jazz luncheon. Are you going to have a
Yes,
luncheon?
in the morning we had the breakfast. We went to jazz and everything in the morning there. You know, we try to do a whole weekend of it though. You know, and I was sitting back while I was listening to the guy trying to open the casino here.
About the casino?
Yeah, and I hope we do get it here because maybe we can bring some entertainment here because a lot of people always how OP you don't do no shows here. It's really nowhere to do no shows here.
Right.
And he opened the casino. We can bring some shows and put them in that.
You know what? You and I were talking before. I think that now's the time to write show. And of course, we had to write security. PS is a lovely auditorium. Let's plan to do something by June at PS. Bring some groups
It's so
up.
funny you said that. You know, the superintendent, Mark, very good guy, man. I hope a lot of people that's in the Brainwash School District look up to that guy. He's a very good guy. Yes. He's a very good man. I mean, he cared about the community.
Right.
And I went to him about it, and he said he don't have no problem. I was talking to you about it, and he said that all we just need to know him what we need to do, and he'll back us up.
Okay.
I mean, superintendent, I take my hat off to him because, you know, I heard lady was in the store the other day, and I had to take up for him while he closed the school because when it's snowing, it's the safety. You know what I mean? I know people have to go to work on that thing,
but it's safety.
It's safety. So you know what I mean? You know, so if I back up a person, that means he's doing right.
Just give me a rundown of some of the people you know. Patty Jackson.
Patty Jackson from WDS opened the doors up for me. The great Butterball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me and Billy Paul was a real good friend. You know, me and Gerald were like brothers. Everybody say we like real brothers. You know, I really miss him. Me and Charlie Wilson getting real tight. So when we do get a ticket away, I'm gonna have him call and do set the telephone up.
And have him call that Charlie Wilson. Oh, okay.
We're gonna do the telephone call. You know, I just hope we could like just try to keep living. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff we're going through with the problems and
but you know
finance
what?
and
we
stuff.
got to look. You get what you see. You know, if you just look for misery and the bad things, that's what you get. Look to the goodness. There's a lot of good things happening here. You know, my motto is believe you can and you will, but you got to stay positive. At the same time, we're going to work. You know, we got some pockets of resistance of crime in the city that we should be able to easily handle. But then again, tell us about the show again on the date so people know. And I'm going to bring you back. When are you coming back? Next month. Okay, second Sunday.
Yeah, second Sunday next month. Because also I'm doing a show March the 22nd with Monica and Carl Thomas in Jersey.
In Jersey?
We're going to give tickets away for that day when I come back the second time on your show.
Okay, so how many tickets are you going to give away? Because you know people are going to be waiting for this. How many tickets?
I'm going to give 4 for the Monica and Carl Thomas show.
Okay.
Then I'm going to give 4 for the Mother Day weekend.
For Mother Day weekend.
Like 4 and 4.
Okay, and who are you having again?
May the 10th, Gladys Knight, Charlie Wilson, Hit of the State. That's Johnny Gill, Bobby Brown, and Ralph. And then on Sunday, the 50th anniversary for the Whispers and Harry Huey on Sunday.
Okay, all right. Well, you know, we're going to post this on your Facebook, my Facebook, so people could know who's on the shows.
And right now, the tickets are on sale now, so they can reach me at 302-218-0554 if they want good seats right now.
You going to put that on your Facebook?
Yes.
Tag me. So your phone number again is 302-218-0554. 0554. Well, I'm coming to see Charlie Wilson. I'll be there.
Oh, yes,
all right, thanks for coming out.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to go to a short break, show a third segment of the town hall meeting, and then we're going to come back and talk to some newly elected ladies in charge at DART.
I want to let you know that we are committed, and if you look around at the city and everything, so starting all these statistics and everything, but if you look in the neighborhoods are predominantly made of good people, okay? Not the certain percent, maybe over 90% are good folks. The other 10% are some of the folks that we call the very worst of the worst, the violent offenders. And some of the things that were just said earlier about the prison systems and who's in the system, I think there is a definite reevaluation that we need to do, because we should really incarcerate the very high-risk people that are going to come out, the ones that are shooting folks or robbing folks. Not so much the ones that they were saying with the drug offenses. The other thing, too, is the critical piece for us to, and we're going to unveil a plan here shortly, too, but we have to think, even in the city, outside the box. Working on programs where we have our youth who might be able to pick up a phone in the middle of the night and talk to somebody who may have been through the process and say, hey, you know, I'm really upset with this person. I want to go out and I want to shoot them. Hopefully that's that intervention part that comes into where we can stop some of this. Because even former Mayor Baker here, he always said the same thing: you cannot arrest yourself out of the situation. It's going to be a lot more creative solutions in order for us to get a handle of this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Quentin Martin from the Newcastle County Police. Colonel said he couldn't make it tonight. He double booked himself, so he sends his apologies. I'm happy to be here. I'm honored to be representing Newcastle County Police. I stand together with both agencies up here in our cooperation. Let me just say one thing. Criminals don't know jurisdictional boundaries. And so they commit crimes in the city and the county. They go back and forth all over. One of the things that we are committed to doing as the police departments in Newcastle County is working together, communicating, working on different operations together. And the Newcastle County Police stands committed to working with Wilmington and the state police to handle all the issues, because it bounces back and forth. It bounces from the crime bounces from the city to the county, from the county to the city. And so we have to all communicate, we all have to work together. That's one thing. Second thing is we need the public support. Let's do the math. There's more citizens than there are police in this country. Police are not going to be everywhere. They can't be everywhere to solve every single crime. And so when that happens, we need the public to come forward and let us know what's going on. You can do it anonymously, or you can come in and face-to-face or on the phone. We'll take anonymous tips. Because what you don't know is that we may have other pieces to this puzzle to solve, and just that one piece of information that you heard about, that someone did something, may help us put the other piece in that puzzle and solve that crime. You know, I've always been a firm believer in the fact that the public is the police and the police are the public. The only difference is that with the police is the fact that we get paid to put our full time and attention to investigating, eradicating, and suppressing crime. But the public also plays a part in that. Because I don't live in all your communities, I live in one community, I don't live in all your communities. You have to take ownership for things that happen in your community. And like I said, if you want to give the information anonymously, we're never going to take and put the phone down and say we don't want it. Because what you may have may be valuable, so don't ever hold back. And if you don't want to give your name, you don't have to give your name. We just need the information. I would much rather have our guys run around, running down leads and investigations and sitting on their hands saying we don't have any information. We have no leads to look into. So we need your cooperation, we need your partnership. It's the only way it's going to make it happen. Thank you.
Good evening. Let me just take one moment. Colonel Nathaniel Queen, Superintendent for Delaware State Police. Just wanted to introduce the rest of my staff since they're here tonight. Captain Mark Reeder is Troop Commander of Troop 1. Major Assistant Melissa Zebulon is the Operations Major for Newcastle County. And Sergeant Paul Shattuck is our PIO for Delaware State Police. Like I said, I've listened to everything everybody said tonight, and the one thing that keeps coming back to is that it's always been bigger than the police. You know, we are honored to serve the public, and the public allows us to do what we did. You know, but at the end of the day, we're no different than the public. You know, at some point we'll all retire, hopefully return to safe communities, and we can't do that unless, you know, we all work together. You know, some of the communities I see a little bit different than both of them, because they work within the county, she works within the city of Wilmington. As I travel up and down the state, the one thing I see in some communities that are much more successful in terms of how they deal with their problems and work, interact with the police, is that they're there every month. They're there every month at community meetings. They're putting their heads together. They're holding the police accountable. They're there every month to talk about problems in their neighborhood and making sure that the police respond to those problems. Those communities are there every month without fail. They're there looking for programs for their children. They're taking accountability for themselves. We can be held responsible, but only when we work together. It's so many programs that are out there. The CJC, the governor has always been committed to making the state safer. We've been committed to working with Wilmington to try and do that, and we're going to continue to do that. Again, at the end of the day, it takes all of us working together. But I don't want to take up too much time. I'll certainly take time for questions.
Okay.
All right. Before we do that, we want to recognize City Councilman Laura Teston Wright. Are you still here? Would you raise your hand? Okay. And could all the preachers just stand real quickly for me because...
Okay, welcome back to Straight Talk. I'm your host, Charles Potter Jr. You've just been watching another segment of the town hall meeting. It was tremendous success. I'd like to thank everyone for participating. Now I'm joined by my, I ain't gonna say partner in crime, but my associate, Ed Johnson. Ed, how you doing?
How you doing today?
Good. Ed, we're fortunate today to have some people here that you work with from DART. And, why don't you do the honors? Okay,
they're the newly elected officials of our union, Ms. Lillian Shavers, who is our president of our union, and Ms. Dawn Washington of 842. This is the first time in the history of our union that two women are leading our union. Ms. Lillian Shavers, they're taking over, right? Yeah. Lillian Shavers again is the president. Dawn Washington is our vice president. Congratulations, you two, because I'm very happy that you two people have gotten in.
Thank you, Lillian.
Lillian and Dawn.
Yes, thank you. And women are taking over because we get the job done.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead and tell us about yourself and what new initiatives you have for the union.
I'm very proud of my union, Local 842. We transport the whole state. We have a fixed route, paratransit, door to door. We have our mechanics, our maintenance people. We're all professionals. So anytime anyone board a DART vehicle, remember you're being transported by professionals. Yes. We love our communities, and we're hoping that our communities support us throughout whatever we are facing. And we will continue to support you guys safely.
Wow.
Good.
Dawn?
Just give us some insights on.
How long have you been with DART?
I've been with DART for 8 years, and I'm actually excited about being the vice president of Local 842. And we are professionals, and we are here to do a wonderful job, and we are going to change this union around because we are strong women. Yes. And we look forward to working with the company as well. I think it appears as though the company is optimistic with working with us.
Okay, now there was a policy that came down about no phone uses for drivers, and there was some of your members caught up in that. Tell us about that and how you think you can help those members out.
Well, right now we are working on that, and we are in legal negotiations with it. Right. Well, no, I just want to express to my membership that right now we are still allowed to carry our cell phones.
You are.
And yes, and if we need to pull over, secure our vehicles, we can use our cell phones.
Okay.
So Delaware is very unique in that way because we are aware other states have a no cell phone
policy, right?
Policy, period. So we're moving forward with that, and I'm very proud of my membership because throughout the history we have never had anyone be terminated under the cell phone policy.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking that once we finish our hearings, that we will come out.
Okay. Ed, I know you've been with DART for some time. You have some questions you want to ask here?
The only thing that I want to say that I think that with these two young ladies leading our union right now, I think we're heading in the right direction. Because I think that what we have to do is we have to get everybody on board headed in the same direction.
Yes.
And I think both of you will agree with that.
Yes.
And not only that, But it seemed like to me that sometimes the administration of our of our workplace, they seem like they can just throw anything they want to do on us at any time, any kind of policy they want to, without us, without us fighting back. And what do you think about that?
Well, Ed, first of all, any company have the right to implement any policy.
Right.
They have that right. But that's where your union comes in.
Exactly. That's back to my point.
We will challenge those policies.
Okay.
We will not let 842 be wrong.
Okay. Okay.
I will ride with 842 till the wheels fall off.
And how many union people are in your union?
733.
733. That's
Yes.
large.
Yes.
That's large.
Yes.
Make sure
And
they all
we're
vote for me.
growing.
Yes.
Every vote counts.
Yeah.
But you do emphasize on safety.
Yes.
Yes.
And what about for the citizens? I've had people complain that some of the DART riders bypass them. How would a citizen put in a complaint, and how would you handle that if a worker is out of line?
Okay, first of all, they have an information center set up at DART. And what I'm saying to the company now, that if you find that there's a problem with this, please notify me or the vice president,
Okay.
and we will step to those people. Because first and foremost, we are professionals and
go.
we're proud.
All
We're
right.
here to serve the public.
That's right. That's our
Anything-
job, to serve
Anything
the
you guys
public.
want to say in closing? I'm glad to have you. I'm going to have you back. After you got a little experience, you get
Thank
roughed
you.
up out there a little bit.
Yes.
You need a little help when Ed comes in. So any way I can help you on the stage side, please let me know. But what would you like to say? You're a little quiet there. I bet you're a real fighter, though. Huh?
She is. She is.
Quiet storm, right?
Yes. Well, I'm just fighting a head cold right now,
Okay.
so I'm a little
All
under the
right.
weather.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Okay.
not so
Okay.
active in speaking. The only thing that I would like to say today is thank you for having us on your show, and we really look forward to working and
Okay.
making a change.
Great. And you?
I also would like to say thank you so much for having us. And that 840 ATU, Amalgamated Transit Union, Local 842, we're proud, we're strong, and we're professionals.
Well,
And
Ed,
thank
what do you want to say in closing the DART here?
I just want to say, I think that it's great to have these ladies. They seem like they want to head us in the right direction. And every time I used to go to a union meeting, I see people fight and arguing. And I think that that's going to stop now, and we're going to take this union in the right direction, and we're going to come out strong, and we're going to lead this union in the right direction.
Well, Ed, I would like to inform you that you will be very proud that we are forming committees so that everyone will be united so that we can move forward.
Good. I hope that y'all include me as part of one of those committees.
Okay.
So that we
I
can
don't know if that's
straighten
too
this
good.
out.
But no, Ed's a great guy.
Yes,
but
he is, and
we
thank
wanna
you, Ed.
Thank you for
You're welcome.
coming. I'm going to bring you back in a month,
Okay.
and we're going to get an update. We're going to go to a short break, and we're going to come back with that Republican Cal Brown, and we'll end the show off with some sports talk from Ed. So stay tuned for Straight Talk. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Foot patrols are great. I know, we've been here for a couple years, and, at the end of the day, it's about trust. And you have to continue to build that trust every day. If you can't trust the community that you're working in, and the community can't trust the police, then we're all failed. You got to continue to work on that relationship every day. It's a daily process. When things go wrong, I know the gentleman talked about, suing the police. That may be a part of it, but at the end of the day, most police agencies, especially here in Delaware, are responsive. If you call, we will get an answer. It may not be the answer you want to hear, but we will investigate and we'll look into the bottom of whatever the issue is. And that's the only way that works. You have to continue to be responsive to the police, and we have to be responsive to you and continue to build that trust.
Okay, if you have some questions, please come up to the front. This is your opportunity.
Yes, my name is Ernest Baker, and I wrote a petition myself, and it's addressed really to the mayor, and reads as like this here, Mayor Williams. My name is Ernest Baker, and I'm writing to you on behalf of concerned citizens of the city of Wilmington, whose signatures are listed on the attached petition. Our concern is regarding the number of shootings and unsolved murders in our city. The unsolved murders have gone on for years, and we, the concerned, feel that enough is enough. As long as these murders, thugs, and cowards continue to get away with the violence and murders that are committed in our city, the reputation and safety of our city will continue to deteriorate. By no means are the people of concern blaming you or the city police department for the mayhem that has broken out all over the city, but until we get a homicide investigation unit that exclusively focuses on the solving of murders and attempted murders in the city.
Hello and welcome back to Straight Talk. I'm your host, Charles Potter Jr. I'm smiling because I'm joined by one of my good friends. Although he's Republican, doesn't matter. We don't worry about D's and R's, and he's also family. So you better watch out when you talk about me, because I defend him, he defends me. How you doing, Reverend Brown?
Doing good, Potter. It's good to be back with you. It's great. I was just telling you that I watched the public forum you had at PS DuPont.
Right.
Very informative, great turnout, a lot of information
Yes.
disseminated. This was a wonderful show, and I was telling everybody, I said that a lot of people in support of you, and I was just this morning I was thinking about when we get our people together to come out and support the re-election of State Representative Charles Potter,
Well,
one of the
thank you very much.
finest statesmen, not just politician, a statesman that I know in the state. So I'm just happy to be in your service.
Well, thank you very much. Today, you and I are going to do a little bit of rapid fire. We're going to talk about a couple issues.
All right.
We're going to talk about one of the things that I'm supportive of is GPS systems and all the city police cars and radios for two reasons. One, because of safety. If they're out there on it, doing their job and something comes up, it's easy to locate them. Number two, for performance. Most of the other cities, municipalities have GPS systems in their police vehicles and radios so they can track the activity and performance of the police, because we want to make sure they're in each neighborhood, doing their rotations and not only on one side. The other thing I'm against, Reverend Brown, and I was against that when I was on city council, is the 12-hour shifts that the police went to. I think that has a lot to do with what's going on, because after a person works 8 hours, they're no good for 12 hours. And most of the, with this 12-hour shift, 3 days, so they're in your community for 3 days and you don't see them for 4 days. That doesn't work well with me. Give me your thoughts on that before we talk about Christie and some other issues.
Yeah, great ideas on that GPS. I think that not only is it good for safety, as you brought out earlier, so that if something happened, we'll be able to find out exactly where the officers are.
Right.
But the other thing is that everybody is performance oriented.
That's correct.
America is performance oriented. This what made our country the greatest. I think the GPS gives some data that can help better dispatch our police officers, make better use of their time, and that we'll be able to have some empirical data to support some of the changes that we want to go through. So I would think that the mayor and everybody else would be on board with FOP. I mean, we all got to be accountable.
Yes, we do.
We all got to be accountable, whether they're the police, fire, whether it's the guys throwing trash around.
Yes.
We all got to be accountable, and I think that's important that we do that in order for keep things up and running. Now, the 12-hour shifts, I think they should go back to a straight 8.
Yes.
8, because when you 8 hours is and you're tired. And
You're tired.
The police job is. I don't claim to be a police officer. I was a military police officer.
Right.
It's stressful. And
Sure.
8 hours of stress is enough on a person.
Right.
12 hours, you might be a little off course. You're not as sharp as you was. And in cases of emergency, when the police is not sharp, it could mean life or death.
Or if they're agitated, they go out on a call and that agitation goes over into the community, then you have community people saying, well, you're not treating us right. So we got a lot to do there, but I'm supportive of GPS systems in every city cop car, police car, and the radio. We have GPS on the trash trucks in the city already.
You got track trash people?
Yes, we do. We track their performance.
Well, the old people, you say, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
That's right.
I mean, we can't be discriminatory in how we're going to be, because what we're saying is that if you're a police officer, there's going to be no accountability.
And we need more
know that,
accountability.
and we're not knocking the police, we believe in it, but everybody's got performance standards to make.
Sure.
And I know the mayor is an ex-police officer, and I would think that he would be for that. Because that would be something that would give him some more data to make better use especially when we're having a crisis
Yes.
in the city, and we want to know how to best utilize the staff. So that's I think that would be a tool in his arsenal to be able to get some more police, or either say we deploying them wrong based on what the GPS is showing. So I think
and
we want that.
we stand ready in Dover to help support, make sure our city get back to where it should be.
Yeah.
And I know that many people had called me. They knew I was coming on today and said, well, State Rep Potter, could you also mention the fact that for years the citizens wanted a police review board and they need something like that? I see nothing wrong with that. That allows checks and balance where the police and the community works together on issues. Now, and I did notice that City Council did refund something that I worked on for years, and that's the shot spotter. I think they had one of the council members, he brought it forward the other day where they re-engaged the contract, but that shot spotter is a tool that would detect a shot within 15 seconds, and they really haven't been using it to the best of their ability. Hopefully they can do that, because we're trying to use everything, and excuse the phrase, in our arsenal to combat crime.
Right. And I'm 100% with you on that, because we know right now it's too many unsolved
That's
murders.
right. Homicide unit.
Yeah, and I mean, we got murderers walking the streets in a lot of these minority communities, and it's scary. I'm telling you, it's scary out there. People are concerned about their safety.
Right.
All these people out here.
We say that too, and we're going to do this. I support a homicide unit. Do you?
Absolutely.
Okay. At the
city's
same,
got enough murders. And if people thought this was a little two-hotel town,
Right.
that we could use Andy Griffith and handle this, it's not working.
Well, the good thing about a homicide unit is when people know that if they're going to commit a crime, that somebody's going to track you down for life. You may think twice before you do it.
We need dedicated people. See, a lot of times you got this what we call now in the world, I've seen it in the paper today about multitasking.
Right.
That's good that you can multitask, but we need specialists that is zero in on particular crimes.
That's correct.
And they know all the nuances and the things that go along with this crime. And I'm going to tell you, they'll close some of these ranks, some of these unsolved murders and armed robberies. And these are the dangerous criminals. These people that'll pull a gun out on you and kill you are scary.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you, and I live in a community where there's been murders, and when there's nobody protecting us, then they wonder why the citizens want to take the law in their own hands. Because if the police are not protecting me, then you can't ask me to.
Are you going to protect yourself?
Oh, absolutely. That's my constitutional right. And as a
Republican,
we support that.
Now, and I'm going to say this:
the right to bear arms.
Look, as much as you say that, at the same time, we as citizens, we can't allow us to be scared in our own homes, our own community.
I won't do
We have to be bold. I'm not afraid.
I'm not going to do it.
We have to be bolder than they are. It's more people doing the right thing than the wrong thing, but quit being scared. My thing was, what are we afraid of? Either you're going to let them take your community, drive goods and services out, have stores closing because they want to have their way. No, we're going to have our way and get rid of the criminal element.
Let me tell you what the policeman told me one day, and I won't disclose his name. He was on the corner of 3rd and Clayton one day. There had been a shooting up that way.
All right.
And the policeman told me this. He said, listen, I take my time getting here.
That's what he said.
This is what he told me. He said, I ain't got but a couple more years left to retire. And that's it. When I went in the house, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something to him. He's lucky I was a Christian.
Right.
And because I'm saying here, you are armed to the teeth. You got a vest on. Now, if you scared, you scared to come out there and deal with them. Now, you want me to come out there with no arms, no vest. If I buy a vest, I'm under arrest. If I carry a weapon, then you want to lock me up for it. But you, a trained officer of the law, afraid, worrying about the pension.
Now, I want to go real quick. Christy, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, but not guilty.
Okay, explain that to me.
Guilty of being a politician.
All right.
Not guilty of blocking off the bridge. This is nothing but regular stuff. Actually,
so you think the Democrats set this up?
Oh, no, I said, no, it's not. I say it's regular political stuff. They're making more of it than it is. I mean,
but why
do you know that the chairperson for Hillary Clinton re-election team was the original bridge stop the traffic guy?
Did he stop it during Christie's term?
No, he stopped it when they had a problem back in the Clinton administration when somebody didn't want to get in line.
You know what? I kind of like Christie, but I think
He's a great guy.
somebody made an error there, and it seems like they're tracking down that to show that something did happen. Do you agree there? Do you agree there something did happen?
Something did happen.
Okay.
If he wasn't a fact that he was scaring him so bad for the presidential thing, this would have never came up. He got him nervous.
The governor's budget in the state of Delaware, you know, we're 125 million deficit. The governor's talking about putting in 500 million to stimulate the economy through infrastructure, jobs, and things of that nature. What are your thoughts?
Two things. One, the 500 million, where are you going to get it from?
Right.
I would tell everybody, get hold of their wallets. You know, the Democrats, they see your wallet as opportunity.
Listen.
And the other thing is, here's the other thing.
But the Republicans don't want to help nobody. Health care, affordable health care. You know, you talk about education.
Affordable health care is not affordable.
It is affordable.
I called them up. Now, you know what?
Is it a matter with helping somebody?
Not help. When you're going to, people need jobs.
Yeah.
You're going to find
through the affordable health care, it's creating additional jobs. But I want you to comment on the governor. You said, where's the money coming from?
First of all, he has no way of getting money. He's going to take the money from me and you.
Well, he's talking about increasing the gas tax and the tolls.
It's still me and you. I mean, we drive, don't we?
All right.
You know, the gas already high, and they talking about raising up the registration fees for license. I mean, the tags. They're already like $40 a tag for 2 years. And then here's the other problem with it. Here's what I don't like as an African American. They always got these infrastructure plans, but never no infrastructure African Americans.
Okay.
I'm sick of these plans where black people are not included in none of the structure. And they always got these plans where I don't see none of us working. We get a job as a flagger maybe, but no, we're never included in the program from start to finish. And our community is suffering. And the thing I hate about the Democrats, and not you, but the party, is that black people give the Democrats 90% of their votes, but under Ruth Ann Minner, under Jack Markell, black people are the lowest employed in the state when state contracts, and you know I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, you're telling the truth about that. Now, and I thought you were going to mention something that before you used to tell me, well, now the state is the pimps and the pushers and everything like that.
Well, they are.
How come you didn't mention marijuana? So
Well,
what
I
are you
wanted to do
going to say that? Go ahead. We got a couple minutes.
Because, I mean, you know, we got arrested for that back in my day. We got locked up for selling weed, shooting dice, and running numbers.
Right.
Now the state's running numbers,
right here.
Shooting dice, and now they get ready to sell weed. And that's all they got left. See, they out of ideas. And the only ideas they got now is to go to the people on the street.
Well, you know, it's making a lot of money. You know, it helps a lot of people.
Well, we knew it was making a lot of money when we was doing it.
Back there, right.
Yeah,
right.
we knew it was making
But now
money.
the governor's going to do it.
Now the governor's
do you think that it should be legalized here in Delaware?
Well, no.
But you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, listen, I'm telling you, that we'll be pimping after a while. We'll be getting girls.
Yeah.
They'll be working for the state. And you'll be able to go to the brothel, pick you up a little chick, get you a bag of weed, get you a drink of liquor, shoot some dice, and that's what it.
All the vices, right?
The state has been reduced to bankruptcies of ideas, constructive ideas, and now we hustlers in suits. We know better than Al Capone, Frank Nitti, and nobody else. We ought to open the penitentiary up, let the people out that we locked up for selling, writing numbers, selling weed, shooting craps, because that's all we doing.
Is he on the roll? That's Cal Brown, everybody, my good friend, the Republican now. You know, we did some rapid fire there now. You know we can't forget that. Yeah, he goes on straight talk. Look, this is why, look. Most of the hosts of my show end up going to all the other shows on 28. Several people have gone to ESPN because they got a great start here on Straight Talk because we keep it straight. Cal knows whatever he wants to say, he can say. Now we got this great sports guy, Ed, who's going to give us a quick update of what's going on in the world of sports. And we're going to end off with talking about them calling the guy from Seattle a thug. He's not a thug. He was very enthusiastic. So go ahead, Ed. Take it away.
Talk about Mr. Sherman. I think that all happened in the heat of the moment. You know, he was happy that they won the game, the championship game, was heading to the Super Bowl. So he was a little bit fired up.
The
You
guy
can't
from
blame him.
Stanford, he has a 4.0 average. He does a lot of community work. So
this guy has never even cussed on TV. The guy has never been arrested.
Yeah.
Yet they paint him as the biggest villain.
Well, you know, thug is the new code word for, I'm gonna say it, nigger. See, but they don't want to call you nigger, so they call you thug.
Right.
And see, I'm gonna tell you something.
And let's say that's not everybody. It's
No,
a few of those.
it's a few of them broadcasters.
Because a few broadcasters that make things bad because you can't let nobody define us. Ed, I need you to run through. We got 5 minutes.
Okay, we're gonna run through sports right quick.
Tennis.
And I want to talk about the Australian Open first. Serena Williams, even though she went down in the round of 16 the other day, she's a 5-time champion, and she has now won more matches at the Australian Open than any other woman, notching her career win number 61. Now, football. Sherman, he's going to be, they're going to talk about him for a little while, but let's put it all on the table. I just believe, and Charles believes this too, that the Seattle Seahawks are going to win the championship.
Win the Super Bowl. I'm with Seattle.
I'm with Seattle too.
Now, that's what I say this.
And
let me just get into this one for one. I got 2 minutes. Let me go into this. There's been 15 times that the number one defense has met the number one offense in the NFL.
Okay.
12 of those times, the number one defense has won the championship. The Seahawks got the number one defense. The Denver Broncos has the number one offense. I believe if that front four of the Seahawks gets to Peyton Manning, I think they're going to make it a long, long day for him. Bernard Hopkins is just a freak of nature, man.
Oh, he's something
That
else,
cat
isn't
man
he?
is like 50,
He's
maybe
just
50.
hood. That's all. And that's what Sherman is. When we got time to play football, football's a rough sport.
It is.
So they're trying to change it.
And
into
all they're
something
trying to do
else.
is make football like cricket.
Right.
This ain't cricket. When you get done and somebody that slammed you on the ground 4 times, you don't just get up and say, "Oh, it was a wonderful game." No, people are hot, and they try to make football a girl sport. And some of them women in them sports arenas, in them announcer roles now, they get shook because they really shouldn't be out there with the men.
Right.
I'm not a sexist, but football's a rough man
It's a
sport,
rough game,
and you want to put them women out there on the field, and the guys is upset. You see that woman get scared?
Yeah.
She's naturally scared. This ain't for the women. This is for the rough men. And that's my story.
And he was just hyped up. People
you
know
get
what I
hyped
mean
in
when
football.
you get hyped in a lot of sports.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Look, we want to thank you all for tuning in for the first segment about State Rep Update, and then for Straight Talk. We'll be seeing you again in 2 weeks. Thank you for tuning in for Straight Talk. Enjoy yourself. Believe you can, you will. Let's take back our communities. Snitch on anybody who's doing wrong in your community, because the next day they might hurt somebody in your family or you. And I believe the next thing we're going to have to go to is, like in old time, putting out bounties on people to help find out these drugs dealers and find out who's doing these things out here. We got to take our community back. We own these communities, and we have a lot invested. Thank you for tuning in. See you in 2 weeks.